After a few days of contemplating back and forth between the iPhone 13 mini and the iPhone 13 Pro Max, I decided to pull the trigger and choose the iPhone 13 mini as my daily driver for all of 2021. But the question now becomes why? Why did I choose the iPhone 13 mini as my daily driver? Is it because of the price? Is it because of the iPhone mini's unique form factor? Or is it because this year the primary lens on the iPhone 13 mini is an exact replica of last year's iPhone 12 Pro Max? How's it going, everyone? My name is RJ, and if this is your first time here on this channel and you love iPhone 13 mini content, then you definitely should consider subscribing. We got a ton of videos planned for all of September and October, and it's mostly going to be about the iPhone 13 mini. So yeah, drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and let's get this video started. Last year, the iPhone 12 Pro Max wasn't anything all that special. It had poor battery life, the cameras were overhyped, and it felt like I was lugging around a 5-pound brick in my pocket all day long. That on top of my pandemic weight gain just wasn't going to cut it for me, so simply putting it, the iPhone 12 Pro Max just wasn't for me. So last year, choosing the iPhone 12 mini as my daily driver was a no-brainer. But after having used the iPhone 12 mini for the past 10 months, my battery life began to take a deep dive. I went from averaging around 6 hours of screen on time to barely hitting 5 hours a day. So this year I was heavily contemplating on moving away from the iPhone mini lineup altogether. And the decision once again was between the best of the best, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and the smallest iPhone in this year's lineup, the iPhone 13 mini. And trust me, making this decision was no easy task. There were a lot of factors to consider. I actually wrote down all the pros and cons in a notebook. Yeah, you can call me crazy, but this is a very important decision for me because we are ultimately spending a lot of our hard-earned money on these iPhones, and not everyone has to upgrade every single year. In fact, if I didn't run a tech YouTube channel, I would still be using my old iPhone 10. There was nothing wrong with that device, but that's a completely different topic for a different video altogether. When you compare the iPhone 13 mini to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, there are a lot of similarities between the two iPhones that make the decision all that more difficult. Both of these iPhones sport the A15 Bionic chipset, they both have OLED displays, they both run iOS, and they're both equipped with useful features like MagSafe and Cinematic Mode. My thought process pretty much went like this. I wanted an iPhone that didn't suffer from poor battery life, I wanted an iPhone with a decent camera system, and I wanted an iPhone that I could use comfortably on the daily. On the battery front, the iPhone 13 Pro Max has the mini beat, there's no question about it. It's equipped with the biggest battery ever found on an iPhone with a massive 4,400 mAh battery, which is about an 18.5% capacity increase over last year's iPhone 12 Pro Max. So quite the significant battery bump that's going to give you around, I'm guessing, 10 to 12 hours of solid screen on time no matter what you're doing on your phone. Surprisingly, the iPhone 13 mini also got a battery boost this year. It's now equipped with a 2,425 mAh battery, which is about an 11% battery increase over last year. As I mentioned earlier, I was seeing around 6 hours of screen on time with my iPhone 12 mini on a good day. Apple is claiming that this year we should be seeing around an hour and a half more of screen on time with the iPhone 13 mini. And I don't know about you guys, but to me that's a pretty significant improvement. Whether that improvement holds up in a real world scenario still remains to be seen. But hey, that's why I make these videos for you guys, so you can get the honest truth about tech. The overall chastity of the iPhone 12 mini is slightly thicker this year by 0.26 millimeters, and this was done intentionally to be able to house a bigger capacity battery. But nonetheless, clearly the iPhone 13 Pro Max is going to be a battery beast with a 4,400 mAh battery cell. Now combine that with the efficiency of the A15 Bionic and the optimization of iOS, and you are looking at probably the best battery life on a smartphone this year, period. Now, when you look at the cameras, it looks like this year Apple has made some significant strides in the camera department. Of course, all of this is still speculation based on the current specs we have. The iPhone 13 Pro Max has a bigger primary sensor and a slightly faster f1.5 lens that captures 2.2 times as much light as before. Still, the resolution of the lenses remain at 12 megapixels. The ultra-wide angle lens has also been improved this year. Apple says it has a faster sensor that reveals more detail in dark areas of your photos. The aperture this year has also gone up to f1.8 for a 92% improvement in light gathering capability. This year, the ultra-wide now also has autofocus, meaning that the camera can be used for macro photography with a focusing distance of 2 centimeters. There's also ProRes 4K for video, but that's more of a professional feature that the average public really doesn't require. It would make sense for a content creator such as myself to use ProRes, but I already own a professional level camera for YouTube, and I don't plan on switching to an iPhone anytime soon as my main go-to camera. So I'm fine fine with that ProRes as is. So yeah, the cameras on the Pro Max look to be amazing this year, but the iPhone 13 mini is also seeing some major camera improvements, especially on the primary lens. Although the 13 mini is still missing a telephoto lens, it's still equipped with a 12 megapixel primary and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. The 13 mini's main camera now has bigger sensors, which is part of the reason why the ultra wide is now arranged diagonally within the camera bump. What's really shocking is the main lens is the exact same lens that was found on last year's iPhone 12 Pro Max, which in itself is a huge camera upgrade. Remember, this phone starts at $699 and comes with last year's flagship primary lens. That's a pretty good deal if you ask me. Apple also included Sensor Shift OIS, which was a feature that was reserved for last year's iPhone Pro lineup. Sensor Shift optical image stabilization helps keep your footage and pictures steady so you don't miss any crucial moments due to shaky hands. The most surprising camera feature on the 13 mini was the inclusion of cinematic mode. Cinematic mode allows you to rack focus between subjects and even control the amount of background blur in your video. Think portrait mode, but instead of for photos, it's for video. This is going to be such an awesome feature for content creators like myself. Of course, only if it works as well as advertised. Both the iPhone 13 mini and the iPhone 13 Pro Max seem to be significantly improved this year. Clearly, the 13 Pro Max will have better battery life and a more versatile camera system. But here's where the iPhone 13 Pro Max completely falls apart, and that, my friends, is the form factor. You know what I've come to realize? I actually don't mind big phones. I know it's confusing, but stay with me for a second. I've used big Android phones before in the past, and none of them have bothered me as much as the 12 Pro Max. And that's because the base of the 12 Pro Max is just far too wide to be able to use comfortably for long durations. Most Android devices are tall, but also slim and narrow, making them easy to handle one-handed. The 12 Pro Max and the 13 Pro Max are big, chunky boys, and you can really feel that additional weight in your pocket. I also feel like the 13 Pro Max is big for no reason. iOS doesn't really take advantage of a big screen due to a lack of multitasking capabilities. It's nothing like One UI on Samsung devices where you can actually properly utilize a big screen like the 7.4-inch panel found on the Z Fold 3. Sure, a bigger display is nice to have, but what's the point of it when you can get the exact experience on a smaller iPhone 13 mini? You know what it is for me? For me, it's all about the user experience. User experience is everything. You can beef up the specs, equip the Pro Max with the best camera system in the world, and I will not bat an eye. I prefer to daily drive a device that's easy to handle and highly portable like the iPhone 13 mini. The iPhone 13 mini checks off both of those boxes, but also comes with a bigger battery this year. So for me, it was the combination of all these factors that led me to purchase the iPhone 13 mini. Based on experience, I already know the user experience is going to be terrific, having daily driven the iPhone 12 mini for almost a year now. But I can't lie, that 4400 mAh battery cell on the Pro Max was very enticing. At the end of the day though, I know what I value in my daily driver, and that's first and foremost comfort and portability. Camera, battery, performance, OS, and all of that is a close second. I hope this video helped you guys make a purchase decision between the iPhone 13 mini and the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I read almost every comment, and it seems like a common theme this year between mini users was, do they go with the Pro Max for that bigger battery, or do they go another year with the iPhone mini? For me, the choice was difficult, yet an easy one once I wrote it all down in my notebook. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel for all things iPhone 13 mini related. Thank you so much for watching. I'm having a ton of fun making content like this for you guys, and you guys seem to be loving the mini content because it is doing some pretty good numbers. I will leave you guys with my iPhone 12 mini long-term review in case you want a deeper understanding of what you're getting with the iPhone mini. As always, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to flex with your tech.